We will be moving to the third panel discussion of the day. Topic is post-COVID ERP operational and security challenges. Syed Abdul Qadir will be moderating it. He's the Executive Director of AF Ferguson & Co. Please come on stage. Now I would like to call upon the panelists Hussain Ali, Zainab Hamid, Muzammil Jameel, Asma Zishan, Mehzad Sahar. Please come on stage.
किसी ने कहा था ना कि if you are too busy to laugh, then it is sure that you are too busy. तो I think सब मुस्कुरा लें थोड़ा सा, हंसे नहीं तो. Thank you very much, everyone. We have discussed a lot, and thank you very much, obviously, Ghulam Mustafa and HR Legends team for giving us the opportunity to talk on a very critical topic. Full day, we have discussed about digital transformation of business through ERP and all stuff. And now, Hamid bhai ne hame human transformation या personal transformation के बारे में भी बता दिया. अब on the contrary, बिल्कुल flip side के ऊपर discuss करना है इस वक्त, which is post-COVID digital transformation, operational and security challenges, whether it is related to ERP, whether it is related to any transformation which you are utilizing. So we have discussed that pandemic has accelerated this shift for all industry and sectors. Just like we have the new ways of working become normal, और वो कहते हैं ना कि हमारी टीम्स जो हैं उनको सही ड्रेसिंग कराना भी बहुत मुश्किल हो गया है. एंड ऑब्वियसली वी हैव डिस्कस विद राशिद भाई अभी कि फॉर रिमोट एक्सेस फैसिलिटीज़ आई थिंक द पर्सनल जेस्चर, पर्सनल communication has been breached. Unfortunately, even get-ups has been breached. तो इसके ऊपर काम करना है. People are now more extensively using ERPs and digital transformation, like we have discussed whole day regarding cloud computing, regarding AI, machine learning, and even for RPA that somebody has discussed. But the more we are going digital, the more we are becoming tech-oriented, the more we are vulnerable or prone to the cyber attack. वो एक कहते हैं ना, cyber attack is just like कि दामन पे कोई छींट, ना खंजर पे कोई दाग, तुम कत्ल करे हो कि करामात करे हो. So, keeping in this mind, I would now request my each fellow panelist, esteemed members, to take 2 to 3 minutes in expressing your views regarding the post-COVID evolution, which in the terms of its flip side, which is security, which benefit, its privacy challenges being faced today by the organizations and by the even every startup. So I would start from Hussain Bhai, which is President ISACA currently and IT Audit Head of Leading Bank of Pakistan, Habib Bank Limited. Hussain Bhai, please.
Bismillah Rahman Rahim. Thank you very much, Abdul Qadir. So, you asked a very, very important question, and I think a lot of people have views on this. Without a doubt, the coming of the pandemic enabled the acceleration for digitalization. And the way we see the companies that came up, we've seen all of those retail chains that were there operating from brick and mortar stores, they've moved online, and they made that switch very, very quickly. I won't take names, but we know all of them. We are using all of them. And together with that, those who joined the bandwagon were the new startups. And these were very small startups selling food, selling clothes, selling groceries, selling all sorts of stuff. And they all came online. And it has been a boon for Pakistan because, alhamdulillah, we did not face those negative consequences. One side, the government's reaction was brilliant in that they imposed the lockdown. The reaction from the regulators was amazing. And, from the banking perspective, I must acknowledge with great gratitude the response that the State Bank, the approach that this regulator took, that they enforced and they facilitated and they enabled and they brought in place those risk management measures which enabled security to be maintained as well. One of the biggest challenges was not that people were not aware. We were all seeing what was happening. In fact, for my own team, in February we had bought the masks for my own team. That because February of 2020, because we were seeing what was happening in China and coming on to Singapore, it is a ripple effect that would flow through. But beyond that, it was also preparing for that eventual lockdown. So we were already preparing plans of working 2 days a week, 3 days a week, and the full week from home. So those things were planned. The bigger challenge was security. Now, for the larger organizations, the better organizations, more well-managed organizations, they address this properly. For the smaller ones, or for those that had not put this focus on it, they went ahead, they enabled VPN without putting in, remote access, without putting in proper security measures and all of it. And that is where we need to really think. We need to think not only as organizations, we need to think as a nation. Because we've seen what happened with our neighbors, how the name became bad. We saw what happened with even New York, what was happening over there, how it was maligned across the globe. And there are so many such instances. So our responsibility is not only towards our organization, it's also towards the nation. But Alhamdulillah, we are on this journey. We've seen some very good, examples. We've seen some of those impacts that we thought it would never happen to us because we are below the radar. Pakistan is too small, not important enough, not at all. In the cyber world, everyone is equal. I'll just pass on to, thank you very much.
I think Zainab, please elaborate.
So thank you, Abdul Qadir. Industry specific though, then let me focus on education here. I'm doing an EdTech and I think one advantage that this industry got was the acceleration, as Hussain said. But we're as weak as the weakest link. And education level पे जो consumer है, वो पहले technology use कर रहा था at homes for personal. Now it's become not only personal, right? It's connecting to networks into schools. It's I'm sure everybody has heard of initially how Zoom was being intruded with. Then Zoom went in and did some added controls of password, enabling waiting rooms and all of that. So it was very important that education kept going on despite the pandemic. And I don't like the word post-pandemic. I'm looking at it as a new normal. As we speak today, if anybody is aware, right now China, Hong Kong, and Singapore, if you talk to anyone there, I don't know if media is covering this, but it is not a good situation there right now. So it is going to come revolving. It is a new normal. And from an education field point of view, I think it's the awareness that we need to work on. Because everybody took technology as too casually to use as a personal thing. It's no longer personal. So that's what we need to understand.
Okay, Assalamu alaikum everyone. As you said, post-pandemic impact of this digital transformation, it happened at a very fast pace than we expected in the country, in the organizations. And the digital strategies are the top strategy for many of the organizations these days. One thing which is important and which is still lacking in the organization is the information security part, is the investment part which is required as we move along to the digital side. So what are the ROIs? The ROI on cyber security and the security products is a very hot topic these days in the organizations. And there the challenge comes where security professionals struggle to convince the board, to convince the CFOs and the management that yes, there is a strategy that we all have to go digital, our processes have to go online. But what is the price we are paying to secure these data and these informations which is residing in our databases? If we talk about what could be the potential cost for which can be which can be the ROI for these products, that would be one. It could be an opportunity cost for any potential loss through any attack like ransomware, which organizations can prevent. It could be regulatory fines which can be prevented and can contribute in the bottom line for the organization, and which can make a business sense for the CFOs and other business heads in the organization. It could also, the security breaches can also leads towards a cost of brand image loss, consumer loss, customer loss, market share loss, and ultimately the share price lost. So these all are the financial terms which I believe needs more focus. And now these security threats, these attacks, these problems need to be presented as a business problem by the security professionals. So I believe as we go digital, these things, these security investments in the organizations require much more importance for everyone who is planning to go digital. Thank you.
Very good. और मैं सिर्फ इसमें सिर्फ ये ऐड कर लूँ कि आई थिंक वी नो कि राशिद साहब ने भी एक्सप्लेन किया था कि टेक्नोलॉजी एंड एवरी इन्वेस्टमेंट की ROI निकल आती है, तो इसीलिए असमा ने बहुत अच्छा एक्सप्लेन किया कि we cannot calculate the exact ROI of the cyber security investment or even the physical security investment. We can calculate the VOI of our investment. As a nation we are actually reactive. तो हम ये देखते हैं कि यार ये कुछ इंसिडेंट होगा तो उसके बाद क्या असर होगा. ये देखें कि इस सिक्योरिटी की वजह से कौन से इंसिडेंट से हम इम्पैक्ट बचा सकते हैं. वरना रिएक्टिव अप्रोच में मैं सिर्फ आगे अगले सवाल में असमा आपसे ज़रूर करूँगा कि थोड़ा सा हाईलाइट करिएगा कि जब BOD एंड टॉप मैनेजमेंट का क्या रोल है, क्योंकि इसमें कहा जाता है कि वो एक है ना कि मेरे कत्ल के बाद उसने जफ़ा से तौबा है इस ज़ौदे पेशमा का पेशमान होना. तो हम लोग हमेशा ही बाद में होते हैं. तो मुजम्मिल भाई प्लीज़ आप थोड़ा सा और एक्सप्लेन करें इसके बाद.
Assalamu alaikum. As the topic is there, the post-COVID challenges to the ERP running environment and information security. So the first thing which was exposed, that was work from home, the first time well-known term to the Pakistani market, to the nation. So as the new term is introduced, the data is the money, so the money has always needs the protection. So the challenges was to manage the workforce remotely, the offshore, that was a major challenge in that area. And the second was that the awareness of the technology, the secure technologies. Like I think there would be a number of organizations which are providing services that would be certified ISO 007-19. People don't know the international data protection principles. Even the good organization, good share into the market, they don't know about the Hong Kong data protection principles, and the like Isaka well briefed that like the hexa dimensions metrics for the organizational operations. So that was the major challenge. The awareness was not there, and it was like Asma said, it was sudden. It was so it was exposed so suddenly that was nobody was ready to take care of that. So again, suggestion and opinion would be there that the need of the education into the area and the investment as well. Education not onto the consumer level, onto the end user level, but onto the top management with reference to the investment portfolio, which is very low, especially if we go with the SMEs and the low level organization having the number of few employees, but they have to work like they expose themselves. COVID make them compulsion that to work from home, you're coming online, and the e-commerce was there, everything, everywhere your data was involved, and then there is the term data use, so it's always need a protection. So thanks from my side.
चलें, गुड, वेरी गुड पॉइंट. एंड अगेन अब हम थोड़ा सा डीप डाउन जाते हैं. हाफ ऑफ द वर्ल्ड पॉपुलेशन आर ऑनलाइन टुडे, 2/3 आर कनेक्टेड थ्रू मोबाइल. In 2025, I think billions of systems and technology has been interconnected with oneself. Today's topic, ERP, are becoming more and more complex and obviously are interconnected with global digital platforms. But on the flip side, as I stated earlier, that this is the era where hunters are being hunted. ये जितने भी शिकारी हैं ना, ये खुद भी शिकार हो जाते हैं, चाहे वो फायर हो, चाहे वो दुनिया के जितनी सिक्योरिटी प्रोवाइडर्स हैं. और अनफॉर्चुनेटली फॉर फिजिकल सिक्योरिटी इस वक्त वी कैन सी द जोग्राफिकल सिचुएशन. सो एक वन सिचुएशन इज़ ऑल्सो हेयर. वो एक होता ना, एक ज़माने में बिग रिसेशन का टाइम था. सो दिस ईयर इज़ द बिग रेजिग्नेशन टाइम एक्चुअली. और वी हैव सीन के रोज़ाना कोई 2-4 रिज़ाइंस आ रहे होते हैं हम लोगों के पास, हमारी टीम्स के पास से. तो अनफॉर्चुनेटली हुसैन भाई, हाउ कैन वी टैकल द साइबर सिक्योरिटी स्किल्स शॉर्टेज in Pakistan, especially can we fix this by any automation, by automated tools, by any managed services, by any outsourcing or this? And I would like your view into both the perspectives, being a president of ISACA and being a HBL IT audit head. Please.
Thank you very much. ये वो जो होता है ना गुगली क्वेश्चन, ये उस तरह का है. So I love the question. So let me come at it directly. Where we are talking of shortages and what is the quantum? Let's look at that. 2016, ISACA and everyone was predicting a 1 million shortage of skilled resources for cybersecurity. 2021, it was 3.5 million. Guess where? We can see the trend, but where is it going to? And it's expected that in a few years, it will be 8 million. Where are those people going to come from? So, एक तो वैसे ही शॉर्टेज, मगर उसको मज़ीद जो प्रॉब्लम को हाइटन करता है फॉर पाकिस्तान is that the direction is outwards. We've seen a number of good people, skilled people who have moved from here, and that's going to continue. From Middle East they go to Europe and North America. From here they go to the Middle East, and that will go on. So we've been working in skills development with a number of organizations. ISACA, Institute of Bankers, Pakistan, we established a certified cybersecurity professional program covering something like 18 sessions and full day sessions. And this was with support, sponsorship from Parvaz and HBL. The first cohort has been completed. We are now planning for a second one. In addition to that, there are a number of other organizations which are also working in developing these resources. But we need to do much more. We are seeing all of the universities now waking up, and they are starting to work in this area. They're putting in place master's level, graduate level, undergraduate programs. That's very much required. But what else is also, because this is not going to be fixed in the short term. What we need to look at it is as an opportunity. And ISACA has been working since 2017. We've spoken about She Leads Tech. It was not just women in technology, coming into technology, because they were already there. We had women as development managers and all of that. But getting to the leading positions, and that's where Zainab and I have been working also in the Pakistan space. I'm just going to go into a certain direction. Women are often faced with the challenge of continuing work after marriage because, family is there. They cannot go to the organization to work over there. Here is the opportunity now to work from home. And they have all of the natural skill sets to be abilities to be brilliant in terms of for cybersecurity analysts and all of that. I'll just add something else. We need to now rethink the whole setup. Having the whole security team within the organization is a challenge. You can't have enough resources. And where is the reliability that they will remain? The tools that are required make it also a very... Apologies for that. That also makes it a very expensive proposition. Can all organizations afford it? It's a question. So the need for managed services, managed defense, those things are coming up. And that's where, third-party services can come up. Cloud, there's much more acceptability around it. ISACA also has launched 2 new certifications, or rather, a combination of 9 certifications that are stackable. So one is computing fundamentals, and the other is certification in emerging technologies. And so there are opportunities all around. We need to look at that, and then we need to think in terms of filling that
Very
gap.
good explanation. और I think आपसे strategy लेनी पड़ेगी for succession planning of the resources. But anyways, Zainab, can you further elaborate, because you have been involved in the transformation of multiple like Angro Foods and GSK for the ERP transformation. So what do you think the role of the governance and top management in implementation for the post-implementation, after the post-implementation of the ERP, for the success of ERP? But please elaborate in the terms of security or controls perspective, not as a deliverable purpose or not as the ERP transformation. Please.
So Kadir, if you allow me, I just want to add 2 points to Hussein's point of resources. We have a She Leads Tech initiative. Then last year we launched a Pakistan affiliate of Women in Cybersecurity. That is a global network that helps give opportunities of scholarship, mentorship to females, and it is at a global level where they can network with global experts of cybersecurity. So all females over here, I would invite you to join that. And this year we have a very good discount also. So please reach out and become members to avail the benefits of such a global organizations.
तो
The second,
खवातीन के लिए तो आज पैसे पूरे हो गए यहाँ आने के.
हाँ,
ठीक है.
तो it's not limited to women, but it's more focused on women.
Okay.
Yes, तो आप भी join कर लें कादिर.
ठीक है.
ठीक है. और दूसरा point जो मैं raise करना चाहती हूँ on cybersecurity careers. I was recently, when we started this, a lot of people started asking me, हम क्या क्या कर सकते हैं? And I did a little bit of research and I wrote a blog. And then when I compiled it, I realized there are 50 odd positions from different skill sets that are required or different fields that are required. Lawyers भी चाहिए cyber security में, हमें hackers, ethical hacking के लोग भी चाहिए, हमें technical भी चाहिए, हमें governance भी चाहिए, हमें managers भी चाहिए, software. So don't think of it as it is not a limiting field, it's a very broad field. And the world is bringing in people like veterans and others into these careers. So that's another way we can augment our skill set force or cybersecurity force. Now coming to my question, very quickly, during implementation, the security pieces are the 3 points that I would raise, करने को तो बहुत कुछ होता है, but from a security point of view, I think somebody earlier also mentioned in the panel, do not touch the code till you have to. That could cause security loopholes which you would not know. If it's a pre-established, well-tested ERP, try to find ways around it. Secondly, when you're doing implementation, during implementation, make sure you're creating the right roles and the right accesses, because that's when you have the time to do it. Once you're in use of the ERP, that's when the wrong roles come and haunt you, and that's when you're giving the wrong access to the wrong person. And thirdly, sometimes when we're doing ERP implementations, we kind of don't give as much importance to where we're hosting it, how securely we're hosting it. So those are the three points from during implementation. Post ke, I think I'll just raise 2 points. Post mein, you have to have a very, very strong data governance structure and access control structure. If you have these two in place, I'm not saying you will be foolproof. Nothing is foolproof in cybersecurity, but you are minimizing your risk and you are able to get a return on a cybersecurity piece of your investment.
Good point. And I think she has highlighted a very good point, because in the transformation, we have been engaged with multiple cybersecurity assessment for many banks, financial institutions and big companies. जो सबसे बड़ा फुकदान होता है वो सिक्योर इंजीनियरिंग प्रैक्टिसेस का होता है, सिक्योर कोडिंग प्रैक्टिसेस का होता है. ERP इम्प्लीमेंटेशन हो या डिजिटल का कोई सॉल्यूशन हो, सबसे बड़ा जो है वो आर्किटेक्चर मिस्टेक होता है. और उस विच इज़ द बिग, वो कहते हैं ना कि एवरी सिंगल लाइन ऑफ कोड इज़ गिल्टी अनलेस एंड अनटिल प्रूव एज इनोसेंट. इस चीज़ की मेथोडोलॉजी के मुताबिक हमेशा चेंज रिक्वेस्ट को प्रोमोट टू द प्रोडक्शन करना चाहिए. ये सबसे बड़ा फुकदान है कि हमें जल्दी की वजह से ट्रांसफॉर्मेशन, बिकॉज ट्रांसफॉर्मेशन इज़ द हाईएस्ट प्रायोरिटी and the security is the secondary priority usually. तो इसकी वजह से प्रॉब्लम आती है. एंड आई ऑल्सो टोल्ड दैट अर्लियर टोल्ड दैट वी आर रिएक्टिव नेशन. तो इसी चीज़ को कंटिन्यू करते हुए थोड़ी सी एक रिक्वेस्ट है असमा से जो एलिब्रेट करें अपने एक्सपीरियंस से और थोड़ा सा कि व्हाट इज़ द, बिकॉज द वीकेस्ट लिंक इन द साइबर सिक्योरिटी चेन इज़ वी बीइंग एज ए ह्यूमन. तो ऑर्गेनाइजेशन आर मतलब मीन्स टॉप मैनेजमेंट आर क्रिएटिंग द कल्चर ऑफ सिक्योरिटी अवेयरनेस फॉर देयर ऑर्गेनाइजेशन और नॉट, and how can we enforce this culture from top to bottom?
Okay, so first of all, I would like to thank you, Zainab. I'm so glad to see so many women in this room, and she is contributing a lot along with you, Saab, bringing more women in this cybersecurity domain, which is very, very important. Now, coming back to the question that how the security awareness is in line with the management strategy. So, as I said earlier, that this digital transformation came up very quickly and everybody adopted that change very quickly. And now organizations know the need of going digital and transforming their business processes. One thing which is still missing at the top layer level is the cybersecurity strategy or the information security strategy, and that should be even on the top of the digital strategy. Because once you plan to go online, once you plan to expand your business processes, and you are going to expose your data. So one thing which is most critical for the management is to know which data is critical. What are their critical assets in terms of data? I work for telecommunication industry. I'm from Telenor. I'm heading their technology operations. So if I talk about this industry, telco industry is very prone and is very favorite for the hackers for these attacks because of the criticality of the database we have. Like we have millions of customers' data, their ID cards, their credit card information, and all that data that can be useful and that can be by the hackers and manipulated in many ways, and that can have bigger financial impacts as well. So the one thing which needs to be done as the first step is creating that awareness at the top management level that yes, we all need to agree at a top level first that what data is critical for us. And do we need to invest to save that data? What is the implication on if that data is breached? And is that breach a business problem or a technical problem? So that is a bigger question at that level. And then it comes the role of our the information security professionals to make the management and the board again understand that how we can translate these attacks and problems into business problem, that how it can lead towards different financial implications in the organization. So yes, it is very important, but it is not up to that level right now. And that's a long journey, I believe. We are adopting this change of digital transformation, but we need to go digital with security. That is more important. So going only digital would not help because it would not be sustainable in the long run. So that awareness needs to be created first at the top level, and then it will be trickled down to the management and lower level. Then everybody needs to behave in a secure manner in the organization.
And I think through this methodology, obviously, we can inculcate the total culture of the cyber security, and
Yes.
everybody will know that it is the prime importance for everyone. Muzammil,
Yes.
थोड़ा सा सारे vendors को नाराज करने वाला question कर रहा हूँ, because we have seen in 2 to 3 years too many heights. I think there are 15 to 16 heights in the world related to the cyber security attack, which are only due to the access provided to the vendors, wrong access or the old access, allowed access, and due to that factor, the parent company got the overall breach. So, how can you secure, how can you build the security controls for the vendor? What are your recommendations? Because you are now the part of the advisor or security consultant as well. So, please advise on this.
So let me add one thing. I will announce proudly that I'm leading the Fair Consulting Group, an Australian international, which has first time developed its delivery center into the Pakistan. That is proud for us as a nation and as a ERP era as well. So you can say a delivery center delivering the international offshore projects. It's like a Brinks van taking the whole money from the bank and deliver it to the end destination with a full secure protocol. Yeah, I have seen a lot of things happen in especially post-COVID when everything was exposed to the internet and everything was exposed to the remote access as well. There are two checks if we are on-premises or onto the cloud, like system readiness check and cloud readiness checks are always there, which have the sub tasks which need to be checked, the security measures, the SSL certificate, the codes, and the 360 angle of the security. A lot of organization, even in the Pakistan, the CFAM, I will take the name, they were going to deploy the SAP Commerce Cloud with the Egyptian partner, but they failed to that and their system was compromised and the $1 million loss was there. So there are, like say, if I go to the security measures, like standard are there for the DLP, data leakage prevention, the security techniques, and I already told that there are international standard and principle to be followed there. So the only thing we can do that start from top to bottom approach with the investment portfolio and then the trainings. If we move a little further on to the granular level, there is hardware level security, then there is application level security, and then access level security. So we have to manage all this stuff. I'll not go into the detail. Every ERP, if I go to the SAP, it gives the GRC module as well, governance, risk and compliance. So you have to follow the standards to eliminate the risk. We can't make it zero, but it can be minimized. So as per my opinion, we should follow these standards, the principles which have made by the IEEE, ITIL, and like the PMI and all the standard institutes. So we should follow that.
Thank you, Muzammil.
Thank you.
Sorry for scarcity of the time. Actually, cyber security करते करते ऐसा ना हो कि रोज़ा खुलने का time हो जाए. So my key takeaways for today's topic, like as mentioned by my esteemed panelists, that clear and agile, obviously organization, cyber security strategy, because we have discussed more about ERP transformation strategy, but without the cyber security strategy, it cannot be successfully implemented and going concerned. A strong team from top to bottom is required, obviously zealous and dedicated leadership, defense in-depth controls, and skilled security-oriented and security-aware men and women workforce. Last but not least, my point of view, and always everyone would be synchronized, that Pakistan needs a resilient and digitally secured ecosystem to support this overall ERP and other digital trust process. खुदा करे कि मेरे अर्ज़े पाक पे उतरे वो फसले गुल जिसे अंदेशा ज़वाल ना हो, यहाँ जो फूल खिले वो खिला रहे सदियों, यहाँ ख़िज़ा को गुज़रने की भी मजाल ना हो. Thank you very much all of you for listening to us.